Have you ever felt that no matter how much good you do, the people around you seem to betray and abandon you, as if there is something invisible that makes you always face deep pain, while others continue without major difficulties? If you've been through this, know that it's not a coincidence. There is a dark truth about the chosen that few know, and it may explain every battle you have ever faced. But be careful, because what I'm going to reveal to you now could completely change the way you see your life and your purpose. Stay with me until the end, because this message might be exactly what you needed to hear. Have you ever felt like your life has always been different? That since you were a child, you faced challenges that seemed much greater than you could handle? Maybe you've been rejected, betrayed by those you trusted most, and wondered why everything seems so difficult. But what if I told you that none of this is by chance? That there is a greater reason behind every pain, every disappointment, and every betrayal you have ever experienced? If you are here now, it is no coincidence. God has a purpose for you, and the chosen ones always face the biggest battles. The chosen ones do not have ordinary lives. They are marked by trials, by moments of loneliness, and above all by betrayals that hurt deeply. But why? Because your light bothers you. Because what God has placed inside you is too big to go unnoticed. Envy, falsehood, and traps in your path are not the result of chance. They are signs that you are destined for something much greater. The enemy always tries to destroy those who carry a divine purpose, and betrayal is one of the most painful weapons he uses to destabilize you. Maybe you blindly trusted people who ended up stabbing you in the back, friends who walked away for no reason, family members who doubted their calling, people who took advantage of your kindness and then turned their backs when you needed them most. And it is at this moment that doubt arises. Is it really worth continuing? Is God seeing all this? Does He really have a plan for your life? I want you to understand something very important. Every betrayal you suffered was a test, a preparation process. God does not allow the chosen ones to walk without learning. He shapes each one through the fire of adversity. What about the people who betrayed you? They weren't destined to go with you. Some people only come into your life to fulfill a temporary purpose. Some to teach you something. Others just to reveal who you really are. Have you ever noticed how some betrayals came just at moments when you were about to take a big step on your journey? Like suddenly everything falls apart right when you were closest to achieving something important? This is no coincidence. The enemy knows your potential. He sees what God has in store for you and tries to knock you down before you can achieve your promise. But there is a truth that no one told you. The chosen ones always rise again. It doesn't matter how many times you have been knocked down, betrayed, or discredited. God is using all of this to strengthen you, to prepare you for something much greater. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about now. Get ready, because what comes next could transform the way you see all the pain you've ever faced. If this message touched something inside you, if at some point in your journey you felt that the words spoken here made sense for your life, then know, this is not a coincidence. Few people truly understand what it means to be a chosen one, and even fewer have access to these revelations. If you want to continue receiving these signals and deepening this connection, there is a path reserved for those who are ready. Only those who feel this call will understand the importance of the next step. So if this resonates with you, be part of this exclusive space, then subscribe to the channel to continue receiving these messages. Why the chosen ones suffer so much. The chosen have faced betrayal throughout history, and perhaps you are living it now, feeling the weight of disappointment, injustice, and pain. But have you ever stopped to think about why this happens? Is it just a punishment? Is this a sign that you are alone? Or is there a greater purpose behind these betrayals? What many do not understand is that each betrayal is a test, a process that God allows the chosen ones to go through to polish their character and strengthen their spirit. Take the example of Joseph of Egypt. Betrayed by his own brothers, sold as a slave, wronged and forgotten in prison, he could have revolted, questioned God, given up on his purpose. But no, Jose understood that each fall was, in fact, a step towards his ascension. God was molding him, teaching him patience, resilience, and above all, discernment. Joseph trusted in the divine plan, and in the end, he was not only exalted, but became an instrument of God to save many. Can you see the similarities between this story and your life? The betrayals you suffered could be preparing you for something much bigger than you imagine. And what about the greatest betrayal in history? Jesus was betrayed by Judas, someone who walked alongside him, who listened to his teachings, who shared moments of intimacy and learning. But Jesus already knew this would happen. He knew that Judas's betrayal was not the end, but the beginning of something great. God used this betrayal to fulfill a greater purpose so that the plan of salvation could be fulfilled. Does this make you think? We are often revolted by betrayals and do not see that they are part of the path to our mission. The enemy may even try to use betrayal to destroy us, but God turns even pain into an instrument of victory. Have you ever noticed how betrayals, no matter how painful they are, reveal who is really by your side? It is in difficult moments that the masks fall, that the true intentions are exposed. God allows these situations not to hurt you, but to protect you. He removes from you those who do not deserve to be by your side, those who could delay or prevent the fulfillment of His purpose in your life. It is a painful process, yes, but necessary. Imagine if Joseph remained alongside his envious brothers, who wanted to destroy him. Imagine if Jesus had not discerned the role of Judas in his story. You need to understand that not every loss is really a loss. Sometimes God is delivering you from something much worse. And here's the hardest part: forgiving. Forgiving someone who betrayed you does not mean accepting their mistake. It does not mean allowing them to hurt you again. It means freeing your heart so you can move forward. Joseph forgave his brothers when he had the chance to fight back. Jesus, even on the cross, asked God to forgive those who crucified him. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful weapons of the chosen ones. It doesn't make you weak. On the contrary, it makes you stronger. He shows that his trust is in God, not in men. Have you ever managed to forgive someone who betrayed you? If not yet, ask God for strength. This is one of the biggest signs that you are ready to move forward on your spiritual journey. You may be wondering, so does every betrayal have a purpose? Yes, but only if you allow God to work in your life through it. If you hold on to resentment, bitterness, the desire for revenge, you are giving the enemy what he wants. But if you decide to leave this pain in God's hands, He will transform this betrayal into growth, strength, and a future you can't even imagine. What seemed like a defeat will be your greatest victory. God never abandons you, even when people leave you behind. In fact, it is in these moments that He is most active. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever experienced a betrayal that hurt you deeply? Can you see how this could have been a deliverance or a learning experience? Share in the comments. And if this message spoke to you, right here, God is greater, so that we can strengthen this community of chosen ones together. When you are going through the process of being shaped, the signs appear unmistakably. Maybe you've noticed that suddenly people who were close to you move away without any explanation. Friendships that seemed solid fall apart. People who previously admired you start to act with indifference or even hostility. This doesn't happen by chance. It's one of the clearest signs that you're being prepared for something bigger. Isolation is not a punishment, but a divine protection. God is keeping you away from environments and people that could prevent you from achieving what He has for you. And if you've been through this, tell me in the comments, did you feel like you were removed from some people in an inexplicable way? Another powerful sign is the envy that comes from precisely those who should support you. Anyone who has gone through this process knows that sometimes the greatest pain does not come from declared enemies, but from people who are by your side. Friends, co-workers, even family members may start to show resentment when they realize there is something different about you. This happens because its light bothers those who have not yet found their purpose. You can even try to fit in, be more discreet, but it's no use. Those chosen always stand out, and this shine awakens unexpected reactions. But here's a warning. Don't let the envy of others make you question who you are. Do you feel like you've ever been the target of this type of envy? Tell me in the comments. Furthermore, dreams and intuitions are often direct signs of betrayal. Many times you feel like something isn't right, but you ignore that feeling. Then, when you least expect it, you discover that someone has let you down. This is no coincidence. God always gives signs, but few pay attention. If you have been repeatedly dreaming about something or someone, if you have that strange feeling of alertness for no apparent reason, pay attention. The spiritual world always manifests before the physical. Nothing happens without first being revealed. How many times have you ignored a sign and later realized you were right? Comment here and share your experience. The testimonies of those who have already gone through this process are impressive. There are countless stories of people who faced rejection, persecution, and intense challenges, but who later discovered that it was all part of a greater plan. Remember, The hardest battles are reserved for the strongest chosen. It's not about what you lose, but what you gain along the journey. God takes nothing away without replacing it with something much greater. So, if right now you feel like everything is falling apart, know that it is actually being rebuilt. Betrayal takes a deep toll on the soul. When someone we trust hurts us, it feels like a shock that goes through the spirit. But what if I told you that this pain could be one of the biggest signs that you are closer to your purpose than you realize? How many times have you felt betrayed, isolated, persecuted for no apparent reason? Know that none of this is by chance. The greatest battles are fought against those with the highest callings. Many of those chosen go through this experience. This happens because its energy bothers. Its light arouses discomfort in those who do not understand its purpose. Have you ever noticed that some people just can't stand your presence? Often, this aversion has no apparent reason. You are cut off from groups, ignored, discredited. This doesn't mean you did something wrong, but rather that there is something bigger in you that sparks resistance in the world around you. In history, we see that those who were called to something great always faced persecution. Joseph was sold by his own brothers. Jesus was betrayed by Judas. Even prophets were rejected in their own lands. And what did they all have in common? A mission greater than they themselves could imagine. So, when betrayal knocks on your door, understand, this is not an end but a new beginning. You are being prepared for something that your eyes cannot yet see. Spiritual envy is a reality. It goes beyond simple human jealousy. Often people around you feel something different about you, even without understanding what it is. They can't explain it, but they realize that you have something they don't have. And instead of getting closer to learn, they choose to attack. This happens because your existence reminds these people of what they were unable to be, of the dreams they abandoned, of the connection with God that they did not cultivate. You don't need to defend yourself. You just need to remain firm in your purpose. Betrayal hurts because it comes from where we least expect it. It is not strangers who hurt us, but rather those to whom we give our love, our trust. Have you ever trusted someone who ended up revealing their vulnerability to the world? Have you ever helped someone who, at the right moment, turned their back on you? This kind of pain is not easy to bear, but instead of allowing this to harden your heart, see it as a sign of growth. God never allows anything to happen without a purpose. If someone betrayed you, maybe it's because they couldn't accompany you on the next phase of your journey. The spiritual awakening of a chosen one often passes through the valley of pain, and betrayal is one of those valleys. The good news is that you are not alone. God has already seen it all happen before you even realized it. He knows who needs to get out of your life and who needs to come in. When someone betrays you, don't hold on to the suffering. See it as a deliverance. See it as a new door that is opening. Betrayal is a deep wound, an unexpected blow that can destroy your entire life. But pay attention. What today seems like your worst nightmare could, in fact, be the beginning of your greatest transformation. This doesn't mean you should ignore the pain or pretend it never happened. On the contrary, you must feel, understand, and above all learn. Each scar carries a powerful teaching, and those who know how to transform their pain into wisdom become unshakable. First, don't react with hate. This feeling is a poison that eats away from the inside out, fueling a cycle of endless suffering. Betrayal does not define who you are, much less your future. If you allow anger to take over, you are giving your power away to those who hurt you. But when you decide not to become intoxicated with resentment, you take the first step towards true freedom. Understand that everything in life has a greater purpose. If you were cheated on, it wasn't by chance. God allows certain falls so that you learn to rise stronger. He wants to show you who really deserves a place by your side. Some people are like leaves in the wind. They are around you only as long as everything is fine, but all it takes is one storm for them to disappear. Others are like deep roots. They remain firm regardless of the circumstances. Betrayal is a divine filter that separates those who should have stayed on their journey from those who should never have entered it. Now, it's time to learn to discern who deserves your trust. The pain of betrayal cannot make you a closed person, unable to trust again, but it also doesn't mean you should give your heart to just anyone. Observe the fruits of the people around you. Whoever is loyal in the small details will also be loyal in the big ones. Anyone who supports you without expecting anything in return is someone worth keeping around. Life is a constant learning about who deserves or not a space in your path. Use this experience to strengthen your connection with God. In moments of pain, many turn away from him, asking, "Why me?" But the real secret is to get even closer. God never abandons you, even when you feel like you are alone. Human betrayal is fleeting, but God's faithfulness is eternal. He who walks in his presence is never truly lost. Allow him to guide your heart to something greater, to a future where your strength and wisdom will be your greatest treasures. If you have already experienced betrayal, tell me in the comments. Don't be ashamed, because I have also been betrayed. The chosen ones are not betrayed because they are weak, but because they carry something inside that bothers them. His presence, his light, his call disturb those who still live in the shadow of doubt, envy, and fear. Since ancient times, those who have been set apart by God for a greater purpose have faced intense challenges, painful betrayals, and trials that test not only faith, but also emotional and spiritual resilience. But there is a reason for that. There is a reason you are here now listening to this message. Nothing happens by chance. If you've ever wondered why so many people close to you move away for no apparent reason, if you've ever felt that no matter how hard you try, there's always something stopping you from connecting with certain people, then you need to understand what's really going on. The chosen ones are polished by the fire of difficulties. Every tear you shed, every door that closed before you, every betrayal that broke your heart, it was all part of a bigger plan. God is shaping you into something that goes far beyond what you can imagine right now. But the question is, are you ready to accept this mission? The truth is that rejection is a selection signal. God removes from your life those who do not have the structure to walk alongside you when your victory arrives. Many could not bear to see his rise. Others would try to stop you, pull you back, demotivate you. That's why so many relationships that seemed eternal fall apart like sand in the wind. You didn't lose, you were protected. And if you feel this in your spirit, if this message is echoing within you right now, know that this is no coincidence. You have been chosen. And believe me, the attacks you face today are confirmation of what God has prepared for your future. But tell me, how many times have you felt like you were alone on this journey? How many times have you tried to understand why everything seemed so difficult? How many times have you looked up to the sky and asked, "Why me, Lord?" If you have already been through this, leave a "I am chosen" comment here so that we can unite in faith. Because the truth is that the chosen are never alone. You may not see it now, but there is an invisible army protecting you. Can you feel it? Can you notice the signs around you? Nothing happens by chance. If you feel that your life has always been marked by greater challenges than those of the people around you, this is not a punishment but rather training. You are being prepared, and you know what's most incredible? It's just that even with so many struggles, so many losses, and so many trials, you're still here. You keep looking for answers. You keep walking, even without understanding exactly where God is taking you. This is faith, that strength. This is what being chosen is. And those who tried to take you down, those who conspired against you, those who mocked your path, will one day testify to what God is about to do in your life. Because he doesn't make mistakes. He won't be late. He acts at the exact moment. And when the time comes, there will be no doubt. There will be no question. Just testimonies. Those who belittle you today will be the same. Ones who tomorrow will ask, "How did you do it?" And on that day, you will know that it was all worth it. But before I continue, I need to ask you, have you ever felt like you were being tested? Have you ever felt like everything around you seemed to be falling apart, but deep in your heart something told you to keep going? If yes, then leave your comment saying, "I trust the purpose." This is important because we need to strengthen our community. We need to show the world that the chosen ones exist and that they are not alone. This is our time to connect, to strengthen our faith, and to remain firm on the path that God has marked out for us. And remember, you have not been forgotten. You were not abandoned. You were not rejected by chance. Everything has a reason. Everything has a time. Everything is falling into place even if you can't see it yet. God doesn't make mistakes. If he chose you, it is because there is something in you that needs to be awakened. There is something in you that needs to be revealed. And when that happens, nothing and no one can stop it. Attention, what you will see now could change your life. If you got here, it wasn't by chance. There is a hidden truth about the chosen ones that no one has the courage to reveal, and it can explain every betrayal, every battle, and every pain you have ever faced. Then you need to watch this next video. Click now and discover the truth that the chosen can never ignore.